Hi there, Stampers. This is Lisa. Welcome to today's live. I apologize, I was running a little bit late. I started fussy cutting and lost track of time, but I am here and I am excited to share today's card. Today we're doing a fairly simple one. It could be considered a beginner card almost. Because there's no die cutting. I'm doing a little bit of fussy cutting, but there's no die cutting involved. And when I found this, I saved a screenshot. It was in my phone. I was trying to find the name of the card and I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. And so I posted in one of my fun fold groups. I'm like, what's the name of this card? And they said a double decker. And I'm like, oh, there you go. I've done this before. I've just done it in portrait, not in landscape. So it's kind of the same card, but a little bit different. So let's get started. So here is our card. As I said, this is a double-decker card that I have normally done in a portrait style, and now this is in landscaped. And I'm once again using that really cute as a bug designer series paper, and using the color palette from within the designer series paper. I chose the colors to work with, and so I've got a Cajun Craze base scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Overall, it's 11 by 4 1/4. And then I've got some layers to go on that. So in the back, we have our base layer here that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I have the two decks of our double decker, and they're just a little bit different. They're the same height, but one is a 1/4 inch smaller than the other. So the one on the inside, the Cajun Craze, is 3 by 4. So this makes this 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. That's going to go inside. On the front, this one is 3 by 4 1/4, which means 2 3/4 by 4. That inside one is going to need to be popped up onto that little column. So I've got a 3 by 3 scored at 3/4 of an inch, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and it's overall 3. I was doing a different column earlier, giving you the wrong ones. So that's our column, every 3/4 of an inch. For layering on these two panels right here, I have two pieces of Very Vanilla that are 2 1/2 by 4. And then I have a layer of Mossy Meadow that is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. One thing I wanted to be sure and do was take my layers before I put them together and do my stamping. And I'm going to start out with the blending brush, and I'm going to put some Mossy Meadow along the bottom. I probably even could have done Old Olive. This Mossy Meadow's looking awfully dark. I've also just recently re-inked my pad. That could be a little something too. And you'll notice I'm going in with kind of a swirling motion. And when I started off the paper. I dabbed down over here first, because the first time you set down with this, it gives kind of a rough little mark, and it's much smoother after you've blended a little bit. So there's going to be my two layers. For the stamping, I'm using that $5 stamp set that I got last month for the product of the month. Each month, Stampin' Up! Has a product, be it a designer series paper, a stamp set, something that with a qualifying order you can get for $5. So this was a $5 stamp set that is super useful because it has lots of different sayings in it, so I can mix and match this with anything. Next month is going to be another stamp set. This month was designer series paper. So like I said, they're kind of bouncing it around so that everybody finds something that they like. Sorry, that was probably loud. Okay, I'm going to use the Hello and You're on My Mind. And I'm going to do those in Cajun Craze because that's the paper I'm working with. I'm going to try to use my grid lines to keep the words straight, although this is not a very straight writing. Okay. So the hello is going to go on the front, so that's going to be my longer piece. And I'm going to keep it over here to the right because the bug we just fussy cut is going to go on the left. Okay, then for the inside, I have another little bug. And this time smaller because my sentiment is larger. And now I need to be able to glue these on. And so there's a couple different ways I could do that. I could have put adhesive sheet on the back of it before I fussy cut it out. We can come in with the precision glue press. That's a very fine tip that will allow me to get it onto the little pieces, but it still might ooze out a little bit. But I obviously need liquid glue instead of a snail, although I could use that on my mat. I have seen many demos use the mat underneath the snail or the Stampin' seal, and that's because the rubberized edge here helps pull it along, and supposedly it will grip the excess as it rolls over, but I still get like a little bit of ick. I'm not real excited about how that works. So what I'm going to do is pull in a sponge dauber and put some liquid glue on my mat here. Okay, and of course I can't find the sponge dauber I was using just because I'm on camera. But the idea was that you would take a little piece of sponge, and this is our old stamping sponges that we used to have. And then I'm just going to keep that bug in one spot because obviously I don't want to move it around and get glue on the front of him. But by sponge daubing it onto there, I'm not going to have that mess. So it's got liquid glue. I got it all over everything, his little antennae, his hands, all those skinny little pieces, and it's not oozing out the side. So for my next one, I'm going to find a clean area. A little bit more glue. And then just sponge it on. So this is a little messier than the adhesive sheets, but a little less expensive. It's kind of, I guess, a personal choice. But then this would very easily wash off with water because it is a water-based glue. See, he pretty much goes down like a sticker. Okay, when I do my layers, obviously, we're just going to adhere these down. But that mossy meadow, I wanted to dry emboss. Sorry, this is bothering me. That red inks tend to stain, so I don't want that sitting on there too long. And I want these layers of designer series paper and my mats and all that on before I do my little block. So my column's going to go in afterwards, and it's going to go right here. I'm going to center that in the middle. For the dry embossing, I'm using a brand new embossing folder. I believe it's Ladybug Picnic. It's super cute. Yeah, Ladybug Picnic. And so it's got a bunch of little ladybugs and flowers all over. Super cute. So I'm going to set my paper inside the folder, and then I'm going to put it through my cut and emboss machine using plate number 1 and then plate number 4. So we can see that from the sandwich instructions on here, because we're using a 3D embossing folder. It's just 1 and 4. And I'm making sure as I run it through the machine that I'm doing the folded edge first. Okay, if I was to put it in the opposite way, there's a chance that it could break my hinge over here by putting pressure on it that way. So always make sure that the hinge goes in first. And there is our embossed image. So isn't that cute? I do have Monday's card already. Yeah, I think you'll be excited about it. I've been seeing this book card all over the place and decided I would give it a try. So that's what we're going to be doing on Monday. So I do have that to show you as soon as we get this together. We're almost done. So hang out and see that. We only have like today and tomorrow to take advantage of the sign-up deal where you get the Stampin' Positioner for free added on to the already great deal of getting a Stampin' Up! Starter Kit that comes with a 20% discount at least, that goes at least until the end of July. So a great way to build up your stock, especially since we have the new catalog coming out. You would be able to order from the new catalog early, be able to see it early. And we are getting new ink pads. It's going to phase in. We're not getting all new ink pads right now. We get the in colors will come in these new magnetic cases. So that's coming. Our regular colors will get a refresh next year in 2027. So that's when more of them will have those little magnetic cases. We're also going to just 3 catalogs a year, which we have now, but they're going to go, instead of having the annual catalog, because people kind of lose interest in that annual catalog. It's really exciting when it first comes out, but then we get the holiday catalog with all the Christmas stuff, and then we get the spring catalog, and like nobody's looking at the annual catalog right now. So they decided that they're just going to do that. They're going to issue them so that we have a catalog that comes out in May that will go for 4 months. So it will be May, June, July, August, and then the September one will be the regular holiday 4 months, and then the January one will be those 4 months. So that's a change that will be coming with this new catalog. But we still have some cool stuff in the old catalog, and we have our online exclusives. So like I said, there's so much good stuff that 20% off discounts very, very helpful. Okay, so I put my column in there by setting it up against the score line, and then I just closed my card. Now I have some adhesive on the top because we want this to mount on there. That's what's raising it up. So I'm putting my finger in there to support the cardstock as I peel these off. Okay, so same kind of idea. I pushed it up against the edge and then closed it. Then we have this one that what I'm going to do is match up over here on the right side and then let it glue down over here. So that's why this top one is a 1/4 inch difference, because if I had made them both the same size, this one would be over and further, and it just would leave too much here. So by giving it that extra 1/4 inch, it's allowing me to center this overall in my card front a lot better. So we're going to put adhesive just on this side. Again, I'm holding it kind of an angle with this side being up away from things so it doesn't stick until I'm ready. I am making sure I'm right over here. Then I can push down that. So that's how my outer layer covers up the inner layer when the card is closed. So of course now you could add a few embellishments and jazz that up a little bit, but that is basically our card for today. Like I said, Monday we're going to come back and check this out. This little card is shaped like a book. How cute is that? I mean, and basically for the book itself, there's no die cutting. There's a punch here and some corner rounding, and I did die cut this, but you could make really cute little books with no die cutting. So if you have a reader in the family, or you're looking to maybe make a Bible for Easter, there's so many cute things you can do with this fold, and we will play around with that on Monday. Oh, how cool. Somebody's watching from Sweden. I love it. Somebody said they wish they would do dies for Project of the Month. We were told they might. So it might not be like the full set of dies, but maybe a little smaller set, like the ones that they put with the paper pumpkin. So I don't know. We'll see. They kind of keep it a surprise. We don't know until almost right before it goes out, but they could. I think they're keeping their options open. So thank you for everyone for being here and for playing around with our double-decker card. If you have bonus days coupons, don't forget to use those. Those expire at the end of Saturday. So only a few more days to take advantage of the free Stampin' Positioner and use your bonus days coupons. So other than that, I will see you back here on Monday for our book card. Thanks so much. Bye.